topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Powerful Business Strategies, where you will find out that everything you have ever learned about growing your business is wrong. Finally, a show where you'll learn the right way to grow your business by learning business and financial strategies that your competition isn't doing. And now, here is your host, President of Next Step CFO, Michael Barbarita. And joining Michael for today's show as an executive moderator is Chucky Obia.
Yes, this is Chucky, and I believe that gratitude is undefeated and growth is about the next step. It is an honor for me to moderate today's discussion with my good friend, Michael. Michael, how are you?
Good. How are you, Chucky? And Chucky, I want to first honor all of our veterans today and thank them for their service. We are the land of the free because of the brave. And so a shout out to all the brave men and women who have served.
Absolutely. I comprehensively concur with that word of gratitude to our veterans. And Michael, just a quick disclaimer before we get started. So, by the way, today's episode, folks, we had a record-breaking audience in our last episode, and today's episode is titled Employee Attraction and Retention and How to Become the Employer of Choice in Your Industry. This is in high demand, the nature of today's topic. But quick kind of disclaimer, Michael and I are both affiliated with a number of different organizations, and I currently serve as the managing director of business development for Vedder Price, a global business-focused law firm. In addition to that, it's truly an honor to collaborate with Michael to moderate business roundtables coast to coast, small business owners, medium-sized business owners, to document those insights in how they grow and manage their business. And we call this Powerful Business Strategies Roundtable. We also have our Powerful Business Strategies book. But please note that the views expressed in today's show are our personal views based on experience and successful experiences, to be even more specific. Now, my mission as a fearless moderator is to ask the right questions to help you, the listener, learn the best strategies that the competition isn't doing. So with that, I'll toss it back over to Michael.
Thank you, Chucky. Well, I got to tell you, I am fired up for today's show because we're tackling the elephant in the room. The number one problem that I hear from business owners across every industry, and that's finding and keeping great employees. And so last week, I was sitting with a client, let's call him Tom. He runs a successful construction company. And Tom looked at me with pure frustration and said, Michael, I've tried everything. I've raised wages, offered better benefits, but I still can't find good people. Is there even any good talent left out there? And maybe you're all the business owners out there are feeling the same way. Maybe you've posted job after job, conducted interview after interview, only to end up hiring someone who leaves after 3 months. Or worse yet, maybe you've had to turn down business because you just don't have the staff to handle it. Well, I got news for you. Everything that, and I mean everything, you've ever learned about attracting and retaining employees is wrong, and I can prove that to you today. Did you know that right now in your market, there's probably a competitor who has a waiting list of people wanting to work for them? Same market, same labor pool, completely different results. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how they do it. And remember how we've talked about using a position of market dominance to attract customers? I mean,
Correct.
we have a total show on that, and we've expressed it in a couple of other of our shows. Well, what if I told you that strategy, that same strategy, the same exact framework can be used to become the employer of choice in your industry? Not just another place to work, but the place to work. So over the next 40 minutes, I'm going to share specific strategies that have helped companies transform their businesses from being desperate for employees to having their pick of the linen, their pick of top talent. And the best part, this works in every industry, from construction to retail, from professional services to restaurants. And I'll show you how a business went from 90% annual turnover. That means they were replacing almost their entire staff every year to having 92% retention. Think about that. What would that mean for your business? No more constant hiring, no more training new people over and over, no more turning down business because you're short staffed. So grab a pen and paper, because I'm about to share strategies that'll completely change how you think about attracting and keeping great employees. And if you're driving, don't worry about it. You can catch this episode again on our podcast at powerfulbusinessstrategies.com. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about how to become the employer of choice in your industry, and I promise to show you exactly how to do it. So let me tell you about Tom, that construction company owner I mentioned earlier. When I first met Tom, he was paying $3 more per hour than his competitors. He offered health insurance, a 401k, paid vacation, all the standard stuff and beyond. And he was still losing people faster than he could hire them. So here's what Tom said. He said to me, he said, Michael, I don't get it. I'm paying more than anyone else in town. What else can I possibly do? I have the benefits. And that right there, I think, is the first mistake that most business owners make. They think it's all about the money. Well, let me share something that might shock you. We did a study, and there are many, many other studies that have been done of people who left their jobs in the last year. And of course, salary ranked 5th, as the list of reasons for leaving. That's 5th place. And here's even something more fascinating. When we asked them why they chose their new employer, salary ranked even lower. It was 6th. So now I can hear some of you out there say, come on, Michael. People say it's not about the money, but we know it is. Well, let me prove it that in a real example. So there is this plumbing company in a market where everyone was fighting for exceptional, experienced plumbers. Particular company was offering $75,000 a year, full benefits, company van, the works. Couldn't keep people. Their competitor down the street was offering $65,000. They had a waiting list of applicants. Same market pool, just completely different result. And so, want to know what that competitor was doing differently? Well, yeah.
Michael, I mean, look, you got us all in anticipation of this, man.
Well, they created what they called a master plumber career path. Every new hire, it's a little angle here. Every new hire got a clear written roadmap showing exactly how they could grow from entry level to master plumber, including all the training, certifications, and salary increases along the way. But here's where it gets interesting. They didn't stop there. They created what he called the knowledge bank system. Every senior plumber in the company was paid extra to create training videos sharing their expertise. These videos became a library that every employee could access 24/7 from their phone. So think about that. Think about what it meant for a young plumber. Instead of just getting a job, they were getting an education. And instead of just earning a paycheck, they were building a career. And instead of just being another employee, they were becoming part of a learning community. The ultimate results were their turnover dropped to less than 5% per year. Their average employee tenure went from 18 months to over 6 years. And here's what's really fascinating. Their customer satisfaction scores went through the roof. Why? Because happy, well-trained employees do better work. So now, let me show you the second major mistake businesses make when it comes to employees. Mm-hmm. They create job postings that look exactly like everyone else's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you went to Indeed.com and look up job postings in your industry, you'll see the following phrases in all likelihood. Seeking hardworking individual.
Yeah.
Competitive pay.
Yep.
great benefits, must be reliable.
Yeah.
It's all that same generic nonsense. It's what I call employment jargon. Remember how we talked about marketing jargon in previous shows?
Yeah.
That I hope so marketing. Well, this is I hope so advertising to employees. It's the same thing, just for hiring. And let me show you what happened when that plumbing company rewrote their job posting. So instead of the usual boring list of requirements, they started out with this. Want to become a master plumber but tired of employers who promise training and never deliver? We're the only plumbing company in the region with a documented career path and over 300 hours of recorded training from master plumbers with 30 plus years of experience.
Wow.
Take a note of that. The want to become a master plumber but tired of employers who promise training and never deliver. That's the problem the employee has and doesn't want. And the unique solution to that problem, those plumbers' unique solution to that problem, is we're the only plumbing company in the region with a documented career path and over 300 hours of recorded training from master plumbers with 30 plus years of experience. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an example of a position of market dominance to be the employer of choice. Wow. And so, yeah, and applications increased by 500% in the first month. Wow. But here's what's really powerful. The quality of the applicants went up too. Why? Because, they were attracting people who wanted to grow, not just people who needed a job. And so the third mistake, and this is a big one, is treating hiring like a transaction instead of building an employment brand. You see, most businesses only think about hiring when they need someone. That's like only, marketing your business when you're desperate for sales. That doesn't work. There's no planning involved there. There's no thought. But let me show you what a company, building an employee brand looks like. So this company created what they call the Always Recruiting System. And here's how it works. Number one, they had monthly open houses where people can learn about careers in plumbing. Second, they had partnerships with local trade schools. Third, they had a separate YouTube channel sharing knowledge and expertise. Fourth, they had regular features on their best employees. And 5, community involvement showcasing their team. And they became known as the place to work if you wanted a career in plumbing. And here's what's fascinating. Their recruiting costs dropped to nearly zero because they had a constant stream of referrals from their current employees. But remember this, and this is crucial, none of this works unless it's real. You can't just market yourself as a great place to work. You have to actually be a great place to work. And that's where most businesses get it wrong. They try to solve their hiring problems with marketing, and when they should be solving these problems with substance. So before I continue this discussion, we are going to take a 90-second break.
Hey there, business owners. Let me ask you something. Are you tired of blending in with your competitors? Frustrated with slow growth and slim margins? Well, I've got news for you. Everything you've ever learned about growing your business is wrong. But don't worry. I'm here to let you in on a secret weapon, your position of market dominance. It's what sets you apart, makes you irreplaceable, and has customers lining up at your door. My name is Michael Barbarita from Next Step CFO. I know what you're thinking. Sounds great, Michael, but how do I find my position of market dominance? Well, that's exactly why we've created our game-changing implementation program called Next Step to Market Dominance. In just 90 days, we'll guide you step by step to a position of market dominance by uncovering your unique strengths that competitors can't touch, by crafting a message that resonates deeply with your ideal customer, by building a strategy that turns you into the go-to expert in your field. Now, this isn't theory. These are battle-tested strategies that have helped businesses like yours double, triple, and quadruple their revenue. Don't let another quarter go by struggling to stand out. It's time to dominate your market, period. Go to nextstepcfo.net/contact, fill out the form, And in the message section, put the word dominate. Or call us at 781-326-3822. That's nextstepcfo.net/contact, or call us at 781-326-3822.
Great. All right, Michael, we are back. So a couple of things.
Yeah.
Can we do a quick recap and then take some questions, Michael? So let me just have you do a quick recap on the 3 mistakes, and then we'll take some questions.
Yeah, sure. So the first mistake is it's all about the money.
Yep.
That's number one. The second, I'm trying to figure out.
Second mistake is
the
the
second
job
mistake.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? You mean the marketing of the
the job postings are just
the marketing, and then the third is hiring like a transaction instead of building an employment brand.
Right.
The second one was about the marketing. You're right. The jargon that they used. Yeah.
Brilliant. So, Michael, really quickly, and just 2 questions, and then we'll continue on. So, first question is, would you, in your job application or the job interview process, so it looks like they're asking about the job interview process, how would you approach the job interview process, given the fact that you want to have the great retention numbers, you want to be an employer of choice, you want to have this great brand? So how does that impact the job interview process?
Well, how it impacts is you want to stress the problems that the employee has and doesn't want.
Okay.
So, in the case of that plumbing company, you want to address how the promise of training and the promise of delivering the training and reinforcing that, because there's other employers who might say it, but they just say it in passing. But just continue to reinforce that, and then go into detail into your solution. It's kind of where, like in the conversion formula, where you're captivated and fascinated, now you have to educate.
Yeah.
So, right. So want to become a master plumber, but tired of employers who promise training and never deliver. That's captivate. And then talking about the unique solution to that problem, where we're the only plumbing company in the region with a documented career path and over 300 hours of recorded training from master plumbers with 30 plus years of experience. That's the fascinate. And then you educate them with more detail about how that program works. So that's really where how the interviews are different from from the traditional interviews.
Really helpful.
It's really reinforcing how the problem and the solution, and then educating them more about how that solution will come about.
Great. And then a really quick one. It's kind of an interesting question. So the idea of the job posting being just like their competitors' job posting, there's some business owners that are saying, well, that's industry standard. So how do you keep industry standard in place, but still speak to your uniqueness as an employer of choice?
Well, just like with I Hope So marketing, you can still use that jargon. It just doesn't do anything, because the customer is saying, I hope so, in the case in marketing, and the employer is saying, yeah, I know, I know you have this program and that, you have excellent benefits. Okay. I hope so. I hope you have excellent benefits. I don't want to go to a place that has lousy benefits.
Exactly.
So it's kind of I hope so marketing for employees, but it's okay to use the jargon. It's just that's not what's going to get the attention of
exactly.
That's right, the employee. It's the problem they have they don't want, and the solution, the unique solution that they're looking for that they can't find. That's
very helpful. Very helpful, Michael.
Just like the position of market dominance.
Very helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so if you are just joining us, we're talking about how to become the employer of choice in your industry, and I just shared how one plumbing company transformed their hiring through what they called the always recruiting system. Now let me show you something even more powerful. I want to tell you about Sarah, who owns a restaurant. And like every restaurant owner I know, she was struggling with staffing. And the industry average turnover is 75%. That means most restaurants replace 3/4 of their staff every single year. I mean, think about running a business like that where you're constantly training new people. So Sarah was dealing with all the usual restaurant problems, people not showing up for shifts, constantly changing schedules, drama between the front and the back of the house. Probably sounding familiar to many restaurant owners out there.
Yes.
But here's where it gets interesting. They did something that most business owners never think to do. She actually sat down with her staff and asked them one simple question. What's the worst part about working in restaurants in general? And what they said was, it wasn't pay, of course. It wasn't the hard work. The number one complaint was unpredictable schedules. They couldn't plan their life. They couldn't arrange childcare. They couldn't even commit to taking a class because their schedule changed every week. So Sarah did something radical. She created what is called the stable schedule guarantee. And here's how it worked. Schedules were posted 30 days in advance. 30 days. Employees got to pick their preferred shift. If management had to change a schedule, the employee who had to work extra, got paid time and a half, even if it wasn't overtime. And every employee got 2 weekend days off per month, guaranteed. Staff could swap shifts through an app with other employees, but management handled the paperwork.
Okay.
What this sounds like, Chucky, is a risk reversal, right?
Exactly.
It really does. When you think about it, the employer is taking most of the scheduling risk, if you will. And was this complicated to set up? Yep, it was. Did it require more planning from management? You bet it did. But here's what happened. Turnover dropped from 75% to 15%.
Wow.
Calls decreased by 85%. Customer satisfaction went up 40% because the employees were happy. And sales increased by 22%. And why did sales go up? Well, because happy, experienced staff sell more and provide better service. You know that old adage that McDonald's, you want fries with that. Well, they weren't selling desserts. And so now all of a sudden the employees are asking, would you like dessert? And they're actually asking the question, and it converted.
Exactly.
But here's what's really fascinating. The food costs went down. Why? Because experienced staff make fewer mistakes and waste less food.
Interesting.
Yep. So let me show you another example that will really drive this home. There was this IT company that was constantly losing people to bigger firms. They couldn't match the salaries that Google and Amazon were offering, so they thought they were doomed to be a training ground for bigger companies. But when they interviewed their team, which is what Sarah did, if you recall, they discovered something surprising. The biggest complaint wasn't salary. It was being on call. These tech professionals were tired of getting emergency calls at 2 a.m. like doctors and having to handle critical problems alone. So they created the no solo on-call policy. So every after hours emergency had 2 people assigned. The second person got paid just for being available. If you handled an after hours emergency, you could come in late the next day. And they created a rotation so no one was on call more than once every 6 weeks.
Nice.
And then they developed detailed emergency protocols so junior staff could handle most issues. And the cost actually was about $8,000 per month in additional on-call pay. But the result is their turnover dropped to 0. That's right, 0. No one left for over 18 months. The savings in recruiting and training alone paid for the program 3 times over. So, but here's where it gets really powerful. Remember how the plumber had a position of market dominance, employer of choice? Well, they turned this into a recruiting message. Tired of handling, and that was this. Tired of handling critical emergencies alone at 2 a.m.? We're the only IT company that guarantees you'll never have to solve a crisis solo. That was it. Those two sentences, the captivate and the fascinate, the problem and the solution, that's a position of market dominance, once again, employer of choice. So here's what happened ultimately. Applications from experienced technicians doubled. But more importantly, they started getting applications from senior engineers at bigger companies who were burnt out from being on call alone. And here's something else that's fascinating. Their client satisfaction scores went through the roof. Why?
I can see it.
Yeah, because two heads are better than one in a crisis. Problems get solved faster and better because people were working together instead of struggling alone. But let me show you the real secret to making all this work. Most businesses try to solve their staffing problems by copying what other companies do. Well, that's exactly the wrong way. Since when does doing what your competition is doing work? It doesn't. So the key is to solve problems that no one else is solving. So think about it. If everyone offers competitive pay and benefits, those things become the minimum expectation. They don't make you special. They don't make you the employer of choice. What makes you you special is solving the real problems that really bug employees. So let me take another break. This is before we continue this discussion. This is a good stopping point. We'll take another 90-second break.
Great.
Hey there, business owners. Let me ask you something. Are you tired of blending in with your competitors? Frustrated with slow growth and slim margins? Well, I've got news for you. Everything you've ever learned about growing your business is wrong. But don't worry. I'm here to let you in on a secret weapon. Your position of market dominance. It's what sets you apart, makes you irreplaceable, and has customers lining up at your door. My name is Michael Barbarita from Next Step CFO. I know what you're thinking. Sounds great, Michael, but how do I find my position of market dominance? Well, that's exactly why we've created our game-changing implementation program called Next Step to Market Dominance. In just 90 days, we'll guide you step by step to a position of market dominance by uncovering your unique strengths that competitors can't touch, by crafting a message that resonates deeply with your ideal customer, by building a strategy that turns you into the go-to expert in your field. Now, this isn't theory. These are battle-tested strategies that have helped businesses like yours double, triple, and quadruple their revenue. Don't let another quarter go by struggling to stand out. It's time to dominate your market, period. Go to nextstepcfo.net/contact, fill out the form, and in the message section, put the word dominate. Or call us at 781-326-3822. That's nextstepcfo.net/contact, or call us at 781-326-3822.
So welcome back to Powerful Business Strategies. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about becoming the employer of choice in your industry. And I've been sharing real examples of how businesses have transformed their ability to attract and keep great employees. Now, I want to show you something that will completely change how you think about employee retention. This particular employer called it the Career Investment System. And it's based on a discovery he made in his manufacturing company. See, this company was losing skilled machinists faster than they could train them. They were offering, good pay, good benefits, all the usual. But here's what they discovered when they dug deeper, that their best employees weren't leaving for money. They were leaving because they felt stuck. So they created something really revolutionary called the Skill Investment Account. And here's how it worked. So every employee got $5,000 per year to invest in their own development. They could use it for any training or certification that they wanted. And if they stayed with the company for 2 years after using the money, they could keep it. If they left earlier, they had to pay back a prorated proportion. And they earned additional pay increases for each new skill that they mastered. And so, I know that, but, now I know that some of you are thinking, Michael, what if I invest all this money in training and they leave anyway?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. What if you don't invest in training and they stay? Which costs more, training people who might leave or not training people who stay? So the results were really incredible. Not only did retention improve to 95%, but productivity shot up by 40. Why? Because people who are learning new skills are more engaged, more efficient, and simply better. And here's where it gets really interesting. They started getting applications from competitors' best employees. Why? Because they became known as the company that invests in its people. They became known as the place where you could build a career and not just earn a paycheck. So let me share another example that'll really drive this home. This is an accounting firm that was struggling with the same issues every accounting firm faces: brutal tax seasons, burnout, and high turnover. They created what they called the Life First scheduling program. And what happened is no mandatory Saturdays during tax season, remote work options 3 days a week. Every employee got 5 consecutive days off after April 15th. Flexible start and end times, and additional paid time off accrual during the tax season. Now, was the owner of this accounting firm nervous about this? Oh, sure, he was. And his biggest fear was that work wouldn't get done. But here's what actually happened. Productivity increased by 25%. Error rates dropped on the tax returns, dropped by 40%. Client satisfaction scores hit all-time highs. And they became known as the best accounting firm to work for in their area. And why did productivity go up when people were working less? Because rested, happy people do better work. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But here's what's really fascinating. Their revenues actually increased as well. Why? Because their employees started referring high-value clients to the firm. They were proud to work there and wanted their friends and family to do business with them. So now let me show you how to implement this in your business. Now, it starts with what I call the employee experience audit. You need to map out every touch point an employee has with your company. That's the key. And those touch points usually are the hiring process, onboarding, daily work experience, training and development, performance reviews, career advancement, recognition and rewards, communication systems, work-life balance, and exiting process. And so at each touch point, you have to ask yourself or interview employees, is this experience making people want to stay and grow with us, or is it pushing them away? But each touch point, you have to make an evaluation as to whether or not it's something that attracts or detracts the employees. And so here's an example. A company in the trades completely transformed their onboarding process. And instead of the usual first day paperwork and safety videos, they created what they called a success week, because they felt that the most important week of employment was that first week, that really set the tone. And so on day 1, you would meet your success team and mentor. Day 2, you would learn systems and processes. Day 3, you would shadow your mentor. Day 4, you had hands-on practice with feedback. And then day 5, you would plan your first 90 days of growth. And their 90-day retention rate went from 60 to 98%. Why? Because they showed people from day 1 that this wasn't just another job, that it was a place where they could actually succeed. And here's the most important thing. None of these strategies work in isolation. You need what I call total employment experience. It's not enough to have good pay or good benefits or good training. You need all of it working together, creating an environment where people want to stay and grow. So we've spent the last several minutes talking about the big elephant in the room, and the elephant and the elephant in many boardrooms, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
How to become the employer of choice in your industry. And now I just want to give you some specific action items that you can implement starting tomorrow.
Okay.
But first, let me just share one last story that brings all of this together. There was this company in the landscaping industry. And like everyone in his industry, he struggled with hiring and retention. And he was constantly losing people to competitors, sometimes for as little as 50 cents more per hour. And one day he said something that really struck me. He said he felt like he was running a training school for his competitors. I hire people, I train them, and then they leave for somewhere else. That probably sounds familiar, especially in the trades. So what he did was something really radical. He turned his company into an actual training school. He created the Green Career Academy. So every employee got certified training in landscape design. They got equipment operations certifications. They got business management training, leadership development, and safety certifications. And here's what happened. Not only did his turnover drop to almost zero, but his competitors started sending their people to him for training. He turned his biggest business problem into a profit center, and he charged those competitors. It was just incredible. So let me give you 5 specific actions that you can take this week to start transforming your business into an employer of choice. So first, conduct stay interviews with your best employees. Don't wait until they leave to have an exit interview. Call it a stay interview to find out what keeps them around. Ask them, why did they choose to work there with you? What would make you leave? Be frank, open, honest. This is just being really open with people. What's the best part of working here? What frustrates you the most? And what one thing would make this a better place to work? So if you ask those questions and have open and honest discussions with employees, they'll really appreciate it, by the way. But you'll learn so much. The second, map out a clear career path for every position in your company. People need to see a future, not just a job. Show them exactly how they can grow, what skills they need to develop, and what rewards will be for them, will be available to them. The third thing is look at your job postings. If they look like everyone else's, rewrite them. To focus on what makes you truly different, to focus on the problem that employees have that they don't want. Because remember, it's not about what you want, it's about what your ideal employees want. And then fourth, you create a total employment experience plan. Look at every touch point from hiring to advancement, and then make sure that one reinforces the other and why you're the employer of choice. So look at every touch point from hiring to advancement and make sure that each one reinforces the other and why you're the employer of choice. And then fifth, and this is really, really, really crucial, start marketing your employment brand even when you're not hiring. The best time to find great people is before you need them. It's like the best time to get a credit line for your business is before you need it, because banks will never give you money when you need it.
Oh, amen to that.
So you have to be proactive. And it's the same thing in building an employment brand. You have to constantly be working on it, not just when you need people. So let me leave you with this thought before we get to compliments. Everything you ever learned about hiring and retention might be wrong, but this is absolutely right. The best employees want to work for the best employers. Your job is to become that employer. Chucky, it's time for compliments, and then you can set it back for me for some final thoughts.
Absolutely. So look, energized by today's episode. And Michael, I took some really good notes, so thank you. We have 3 business compliments in our compliments segment today, and we have a 4th surprise business compliment. So let's get to it. The first is Otto Siegel. He is the president of Genius Coaching, and they provide family and parental coaching. And here's their mission statement. At Genius Coaching, they believe that every human being is valuable and born with an innate ability and desire to find their unique brilliance. And so they encourage this joyful treasure hunt guided by 3 simple questions. What are you good at? What do you love to do? And who are you? So to find out more, feel free to check out Otto and team at geniuscoaching.com. The second business compliment spotlight is Mark Smith. Mark owns 5 Midas locations. So we're all to some extent familiar with Midas. They provide auto and car service options. And what Mark and team do is they perform all types of services, whether it's brake related, oil changes, on and on and on. And Mark's going to be opening a 6th location before year end, a testament to his success. In addition to that, one of Mark's locations has the largest volume based on service delivery across all of the Midas franchises. So kudos, Mark and team. You can check out more at MidasofCentralVA.com. So they're located in the Virginia area. So MidasCentralVA.com. The third, Marjorie Goldberg, really energized by the spotlight. So Marjorie's with Zenith Gallery. And what they do is they specialize in helping businesses communicate their mission and vision using culture and fine art and fine craft furnishings. So very creative in how they make an impact in the business community. Now, the last but absolutely not the least, this is a surprise, right? We, on behalf of the Next Step CFO broader team and really the family and friend network of Next Step CFO, we want to compliment Michael Barbarita, the president of Next Step CFO, for today's compliment. This is also part of our celebration. It's Gratitude Month. It's a month of Thanksgiving. And we really just, on behalf of all of us, wanted to say a big thank you to Michael. And part of what we did, and I've had the honor of working with Michael for a while, there are a number of folks that I've participated in roundtables with, business roundtables, as well as in book interviews with. And some of these individuals have worked with Michael for decades. So what I did is I cataloged some of their commentary on the impact that Michael has had on their business. So here are a couple of those. Without Michael's partnership, I would have completely given up my dream of owning and managing my own business. Second commentary, the best way to describe what Michael does for me as a business owner is that he gives me and my family peace of mind and then provides me with the confidence that I need to make sound business decisions. And then the third commentary, I really love this one. So here's what this business owner noted. Anyone can crunch numbers and present spreadsheets, but what Michael does is above and beyond the traditional CFO. He is so strategic. He has been there as a business owner, and he totally relates to the challenges that business owners have, both as it relates to finance and strategy. Michael, compliments to you. So back over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chucky. That was very kind. Too kind. As a matter of fact, I want to know how much you paid each individual person to say that.
I love it.
So last week we were talking about frequency of sales, how to get more sales from existing customers. And I wanted to share one final story that I didn't have time for. And this was a massage therapist who was struggling to get clients to book more frequently, which was basically the topic of our show last week. And like most massage businesses, she was stuck in the when you need it model, but she completely reversed that thinking. And what I mean by the when you need it model is the customer's mindset was, I'll come when I need it. I'll come when I need a massage. So she created what she called the Wellness Journey program. Instead of waiting for clients to book when they were in pain, she created specialized treatment sequences for like the stress management series. That's one of them was called the Athletic Performance Package, the Time Sleep Program, the Office Workers Relief Plan. And each program required regular visits over 3 or 4 months. But here's the key. She wasn't selling massages anymore. She was selling outcomes. And that's a different shift of mindset. Her average client went from booking 6 times per year to 24 times per year, and her revenue quadrupled without adding a single new client. And let me show you now something really powerful, the Next Need Anticipation System. This is about predicting what your customers will need before they even know they need it. And here's another strategy that's just pure gold. The cross experience enhancement. Let me show you how this worked for a personal trainer. Most trainers think their job is just about exercise, but this particular trainer looked at what else impacts a client's fitness goals: nutrition, sleep, stress management, recovery, and lifestyle habits. So instead of offering training sessions, he created what he called life enhancement partnerships. And he partnered with nutritionists, a massage therapist, a sleep specialist, a meditation coach, and meal prep services. This is really great for our joint venture partnership segment that we did in a previous show. And he did provide these services himself. He coordinated them, and he became the quarterback for his clients' overall wellness. His average client went from spending $500 per month with him to over $2,000 a month on various services, and he got a percentage of every referral. But here's what's really important to understand. None of these strategies feel like selling to your customers. You're not pushing products or services. You're solving their problems and enhancing their experience. And let me give you one final example that proves this works in any industry. This is a company that sold industrial supplies. Pretty boring, right? But he transformed his business with what he called the usage optimization program. So instead of waiting for customers to order when they ran out of supplies, he created monthly usage analysis, quarterly efficiency reviews, automated reordering systems, waste reduction programs, and cost savings assessments. His customers started buying more frequently because he made it easier to buy and showed them how to save money by managing their inventory better. And his average customer went from ordering 6 times per year to ordering every 2 weeks, or 26 times per year. And his margins actually increased because of the efficiency in larger and more regular orders, not to mention his speed of delivery. So Chucky, to get a copy of the book, Powerful Business Strategy, simply go to our website, www.nextstepcfo.net. It's totally complimentary. And until next Monday at noon Eastern Time, for Chucky Obio, this is Michael Barbarita. And remember, don't keep doing what your competition is doing.
You have been listening to Powerful Business Strategies, finding out that everything you ever learned about growing your business is wrong. Tune in next week and every week at noon Eastern Time on W4CY Radio with your host, Michael Barbarita of Next Step CFO, and moderator Chucky Obio.